Okay, we're live. Let me just set up a few things here. Maybe give a tweet out before I start. Bear with me. Maybe I can turn off some audio as well. There we go. Okay. Tweet. That's what I'm trying to do. Here. Okay. Brilliant. Perfect. Okay. Here we go. What I'm going to do is, so I had this idea last night where my wife has a ton of headaches, and I believe at least part of them are caused by the atmosphere, the pressure that's caused when the weather changes. And so I thought it'd be nice to be able to just go and see, maybe the next week or so, is there going to be a possibility that I'll get a headache or a migraine? And so what I want to do, I thought, that should be like a really fun app, possibly to use some cool Next.js features. So I'm just going to really quickly go ahead and build it from that idea using the tools I usually use and see how far we can get in like an hour and a half. Let's do it. So I know the API I want to use. Let me just open a new window here. It's going to be the open weather API. I have to sign up for that. I should probably start a new project is what I should probably do. Here. Open up my terminal. That would also be good because I will be doing some coding. So ls. I have a GitHub folder. Whew. Okay, and then make directory. Let's see. Let's call this just migraine app. That's not an amazing name for an app, but it's a name for an app. Okay, so there's nothing in here, absolutely nothing here. So we're just going to yarn init minus y. So it starts up like a yarn project, or npm if you like. You can do a similar thing with npm. I'm just a big fan of yarn. We're going to do a git init in here as well, just because we're going to make this a Git repository. Perfect. And then I'm going to open up VS Code. I'll use that today. Oh, and it just died. What about Atom? That's odd. We're using Atom today. Hooray. That's all right. I like this color theme. So it goes well. Let's see here. So we have package JSON, which gets auto-generated. Migraine app, perfect. We're just going to leave this kind of stuff as basic. And a .git folder. The only thing I'm going to add in here is .git ignore. There we go. And git ignore will be ignoring node modules. We don't want any of that nonsense in there. The .next directory, which you'll see from Next.js. What else? We probably don't want to store any of our .env files. .env and .env.build. That's probably enough for now. I imagine we'll probably be ignoring a few more, but we'll leave it at that. Okay. So that's pretty much it for the scaffolding right now. Let's get that open weather API stuff going. So what I figured I'd do is we'll start with one thing. So I'm going to put it in Celsius, just because that's my jam from Canada. So I'm going to have Celsius. What I'll do is I think I'll do a 5-day forecast, just because I'd like to be able to do something like sign up and you can get a notification 3 or 4 days ahead that you might possibly be having a headache soon because the barometric pressure is about to change. So let's go with this one. I don't know what subscribe does. Let's hit subscribe. So I don't know what I want to use free. 1,000 calls a day. 60 calls a minute. That should be fine. We might blow by it in development, but that's fine. Okay, sign up and get an app ID page. Okay, here we go. Sign up. Oh, goodness. Username. Perfect. I wonder if I already have an account. I might do. Gmail.com. Make a password. Super secure. Yes, I'm 16 years or older. Sure. I don't want any communications from you. Thank you. Create an account. Here we go. We're doing it. Oh. Yeah, why not? Purpose. Just do like, what do we have here? Retail wearables. Web widget for weather widget for web. Maybe that. Mobile apps development. What is education? Maybe I don't. Other. That's safe. Save. Okay, now back to that API. We're going to go. Oh, how do we get? Actually, how do we get the key? Oh darn! Sign in. Didn't I just sign in? I'm already signed in. Where do I get the API key? Blog partners stations API. How do I get the API key? API docs. Ah! I just want the key. Give me the key. Subscribe. Get API key and start. Sign in and get an app ID key. What? I did sign in. It's on your account page. Is this the account page? Ah, it's right here. Oops. There we go. Y'all can copy it. It's okay. But just don't do it at the same time as me because that'd be bad. Let me just. Good. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna just post a link here as well. Ooh. I don't know what I copied there. Here is the link if anyone wants to join. Boom. Using Flock Community Alpha, early alpha, exclamation point. Tweet. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Another distraction from me. That's fine, I guess. All right. Back here. So we got the key. What does this do? Using a name? I don't care. Copy this key. Oh, you know what happened? That was wild. I copied it here on this machine, and then on my other machine, fully separate machine, it pasted it. That's wild. Okay. Yeah, so we'll go over here. We'll create a .env file, and we'll put this like we'll just call it API key. We only have one API, right? I can't. Weather API key. Perfect. So that's in our .env file, which we're ignoring. We're not committing. .git ignore. We're not committing. Perfect. 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 Going well so far. So let's take a look at the documentation now. Okay, so here's what I thought. I thought what we could do is maybe use, that's what I was going to think, if we can get all their codes as well. Use all of their, like create all the pages all at once using the get static props for, not get static props, but it would be get static routes. Static paths, get static paths from Next.js, so it'll like auto-generate all the pages for every city that they support. And then we can have the dynamic stuff in that page. So that's my thought. But I don't know like where the city ID would be at. I don't know how to get all the cities. I don't know if you can get all the cities. How do I get all of the cities? It says by city ID, but where do I get the city ID? The list of city IDs can be downloaded here. Oh, wonderful. It can even be downloaded. Citylist.json. 5th of March, 17th of April. Oh, that's much more current. Okay, let's get that one. And it's in a JSON file format, which is brilliant. So we can almost just copy and paste it. We'll do copy and paste it into our code. Wonderful. Open that up. Sweet. My goodness. It's my Atom's crashing. This file's too big. Let's just connect. Oh no. Oh no. It's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah. Oh, is it gonna let me? No. Oh, it did. Whew. Okay. I just gotta move it in here for now, even though I can't open it because it won't let me. Boom. Oh dear. Darn it, closed. Oh, it's gonna, because what it's trying to do is like syntax highlight it, but Atom cannot handle it. VS Code is much better at opening very, very large files. So I don't want this in here. The root directory cannot be removed. I know, but I want to remove it from the project. How do I remove it from? Ah, here we go. From project folder. Okay. This is not. How am I going to put it in here? I wonder if I totally, yeah, okay, there we go. There. Current list, current city list JSON. And then in get server-side props, I think you can read files. So let me open up here. See if this works out the way I'm thinking about it. So Next.js, I just typed in next. Next.js is what we're going to use. I hadn't thought, the reason I'm like walking through this whole thing is I just thought of the app idea and thought, I'll just live stream me building it and what that looks like. And this is very much what it looks like. Going to the docs, I forgot everything. Static file serving, TypeScript. What I want is get static props. Get static props. I think there's like a get static paths. There we go. Get static paths. Let's see what that does. Pages dynamic routes use get static props. If it needs to define a list of paths that have to be rendered to HTML build time. Okay, let's just use get static props then instead. That looks more like what we want. It'll reuse the same page no matter what city we're in. From a page, Next.js will pre-render this page at build time using the props returned by get static props. Params. You should, to learn more, take a look at dynamic reduction. You should use this together with get static paths. So we can do fetching in here, but I'm pretty sure we can read files as well. We'll try it. We'll try it out. So get static props, which will be fine, because what we'll do is we'll read in from that JSON file. And then where's get static paths? Where's the example with get static paths props? So here we go. Yeah, so you can see, you can read in file join. This is doing blog post, but either way, you're reading it in. Only runs at build time, writes server-side code directly. We can do this statically generates HTML and JSON. Okay. Whereas get set only allowed in a page. That's fine. Preview mode, get static paths. Okay, if a page has dynamic route and uses get static props, it needs to define a list of paths that have to be rendered to HTML build time. So get static paths. From a page that uses dynamic routes, Next.js will statically render. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so we'll use a combination of two of them. I get it. I get it. Here's what's going to happen. So we're going to create our first page. So pages, index. No, we don't even need names right now. We'll just do ID. JS. And this will be the city ID. Or should we do like city/ID? Oh, I don't know. Nah, let's just do this. /ID. Yeah, okay, /ID. There we go. And we're going to, obviously, of course, we're going to export some sort of default function, which will take props, because we need to take props, some sort of React function. For now, let's return null. And we have to have two other functions in here. So export async, oh my goodness, function get static props here like this. And then export async function get static paths. Now let me go read the documentation again. So you need paths as a thing, and it has params in it. So the paths key is required, and it has all the paths with the IDs inside. So this will just be, for our paths, will be every single one of those lists from that read in JSON file. So let's import fs, some node functions here from fs, and we'll get path as well. Might as well from path, and it's all at build time, so it doesn't need to be included or served this list. Instead, get static profs, we'll say const JSON file equals, or city data maybe, equals json.parse. We should probably try catch this as well because it might fail. Try. I don't know what would happen if it failed though. Let's leave it out. We want the build to abort if it fails. So city data json.parse in here. Ooh. Darn it. Import utils from util, and then we'll just do const read file equals utils dot promisify. All of Node's utilities are still using callbacks, so we're just going to put it into a promise. Promisify fs.read file. I think it's just read file as well, all one word. Node read file. Check file system documentation. Read. Oh, it's capital. Okay. My bad. Read file. There we go. So we'll use that. We'll read the file in, parse the data that comes out of it as JSON. So then we'll do read file in here. Path.join, whatever directory I'm currently in, directory name. And then we should probably use path.resolve. Resolve directory name and up one directory to current city.list.json there. And I believe it takes options of encoding, which we want in UTF-8. Let me just take a look. Documentation here. So file path. Yes, but then you can take options which are encoding and flags, so that's fine. We just need encoding. Let's just start off and see if we can console log the city data. City data, or if it just breaks immediately. Okay. Here. Yarn. You know what I didn't do? My package JSON, I didn't any scripts, or I didn't install Next, I didn't install React, I didn't do anything. Okay, this is brutal. Let's do that. Yarn add, so we need Next, React, Next.js, React, and React DOM. For now. Well, I think we'll add a few other things when we get into doing some styling, but for now, those are the ones we want. Beep, beep, boop. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, no, it's not done. Now we wait. No questions. No questions. Get out. Throw up some of that fire. Okay, that's done. So I added those in. Now we need to do in package JSON, so those dependencies are there, which is great. Now we need scripts. Boom, which we're going to have dev. Will just be next dev. We will have start. This is only for eventually when we do production. Start, which will be next start. And similarly, we need a build command. Oops. Next build. Oh, next makes it so easy. So easy. This city data. And so now we can just go here in the yarn dev. Let's see what happens. We should see. Next dev not found. Did I do a minus in there by accident? Did I type it wrong? I fully did. Next space dev, please. All right, there we go. Now it either will explode or print out a bunch of junk, right? Or nothing. What did I expect to see here? Okay. Interesting. I don't know what's going on. Let's look at the documentation. So this will statically generate post, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, fallback. It's required. I see I didn't put fallback in there. I didn't return anything out of that function. That's probably why it broke. I'm just going to need a fallback key. Fallback is false, and paths not returned by this will result in 404. Okay. So we need to return paths here, which will just be empty for now, and a fallback, which I'm okay with doing false. So it'll 404 if you go to a city code that doesn't exist for now. I'm sure we could handle it nicely, but that's okay. Fetch static props. So render the static paths, and then you get the params in here from the paths, and you can do it. That's neat. So let's take a look over here and just run dev again. Please handle it properly and print out a massive JSON. No? You don't want to do that? Do I have to go to the web page? Which of course doesn't exist. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. That's better. Okay. So it couldn't parse the JSON file. So I need to go there in order for it to run this code because it's in development. That's what I'm gathering from this. Okay. City data. So let's just take a look at. Oh, you know what it was? I tried to give it a promise. Await that, and then parse whatever is resulting. Notice file directory. Oh, really? Path resolve. Wherever I am. Okay, let's just use join. That should do it. Oh, still nothing. Really? Current.city.list.json. Path.join. This directory, and then resolve. I don't understand. Oh, I tried to open something. Why is it trying to open the root directory? Is it running from the root directory? Like dir name doesn't work? Okay. Let's console log some stuff, I guess. Log dir name. Dir name is like a node built in. Oh, it is running from the root. Okay. Why are you running from the root? I guess this is where it's getting built. It's at build time. Okay. Let's just use it. Oh dear. This is even more dangerous. Try this. I'm gonna open. Yeah. Gosh, how do I get the current directory? Okay, but relative to the project. Let me take a look, and maybe it's in their documentation. I saw an example of FS in here. Yeah, posts. Oh, current working directory. Okay, you need to use current working directory. Let's try that. Process. Oops. Dot current working directory. Is that going to work? It didn't break. It didn't break. It should have printed something. Let's just print what this looks like here. Console.log. It should print this. Unless maybe I'm not going to the page, just get it to refresh. Refresh. It says, can't find GitHub, I see. So I don't need to go up one, is what it's telling me, because current working directory is actually the root of that project, which works out well. Refresh. That makes sense. It's going to give 404. There's the nasty explosion. So we have a name and an ID, which is lovely. I wonder. Yeah, okay, we'll pass those both in as props because it gets static props, right? Can we do that? I think because we can pass params in. So over here, get static paths, wherever it was, get static paths. It has params, so we can pass ID and whatever else, which it has both. So then all we're going to do with this city data is go through here, city data dot map. So go through each one, and we'll just return the ID and the name out into the params object. So there's our function. And we will just return, I believe it's an object of ID and name as the params, or do I have to put params in there? I do. So params here. My first time using the static stuff. It's pretty cool. There we go. So that's generate a bunch of pages for us now that then will be found. Oh, it's not provided as a string in get static paths for ID. ID was not provided as a string. Console.log. Why is ID not a string? Is it a number? Is that what's happening? Oh, goodness me. That's a lot of numbers. Let's actually go to a real one. I don't know what city this is, but we'll go to that one. Okay, it's probably because it's a number as opposed to, that's what it's complaining about. Because I parse out JSON, I'm assuming it's a number. So we'll just do like ID is the same as ID dot to string. There. Cannot convert undefined or null to object. Now that's complaining because get static props has to return a structure that looks like this, an object with props key inside, which now should be fine. And we should return null and it should be empty. Oh, boom, just like that. Just like that. Except that's not exciting because nothing's there. So I'm really curious as to what city this is. So I think one more thing, get static props, static pad, static props, takes the whole params object. So we'll get in here, params. I don't know if it's anything we should be fetching at build time. So this is just going to be passing things along so that we can statically generate them by passing in, the ID, which will actually term city ID, the params.id, and then the city name, which is params.name. I wonder if there's any more information in that object. Oh, I can't. Let me just console log the first one. City data at 0. So I want to see if there's like a language attribute to let me to know like which language that city usually normally is. I'll just default to English if I need to. Ooh. Ah, goodness me. You can't serialize it. What's wrong with that? It should be numbers or strings. Console.log params. Boom. Okay, yeah, okay, it has langs. I'm assuming these are like language codes, but I feel like DE is German, so I'm not really sure. Stations, Zoom, I'm not sure that is a population. It's kind of neat stats we could include, but whatevs. Serializing.city name from get static props in /ID. There is serializing city name. It should just be a string. Undefined cannot be serialized. I see it's undefined. Name. What did I do then? Params.name. I put name in there. Params like this with name. That should be fine. Console.log ID name. There'll be a lot of them. Refresh. Yeah. See? It looks fine. Wow, there's a lot of Budapests. Very interesting. You learn new things every day, I guess. So then, why isn't it working? Why is name undefined? Comment it out for now. And console params. It's in params. Tell me, there's just ID. Can I pass more things in there? Like if I just put name here, can I get the name out here? Let's see. Refresh over here. ID, Bloom, sidepath ID. URL parameters intended for this dynamic route must be nested under the params key. Okay. I did that and then name was undefined. What's going on? So can I only put whatever's in the path? Post.id, because it's in the ID file. Fallback is false. That's fine. I don't need to worry about that. Paths. If the page name is this, params should contain this. If the page name uses catch-all routes like that, then params should contain slug, which is an array. If the array is foobar, then Next.js will statically generate the page at foobar. Oh, interesting. Okay, because it's catch-all. Can I include more things in my params list? Obviously not. Use the static props to find lists. All right, let's change the name then. Instead of ID, what we're going to call it is city. And that way we can pass in the whole city object, I think. So we'll just go city. And actually, in this case, we should be able to just pass the whole city data in because it's like a list of cities. And then we can go city ID is just params.city.id and city.name. There we go. Let's see how that goes down. Refresh. It says explosion. This is not because it's not serialized. Map. And we'll pass in a function called serialize, which will import. We haven't created it yet. We'll import that. Import serialize from up1 directory utils/serialize. So we'll create that utils serialize.js. Export default function. It's going to take in some sort of object O, and it's going to do json.parse, json.stringify, whatever object that is. There we go, boom. High-tech serialize function. Good. Okay, this should work out fine now because we're mapping through and going through every single one and serializing it. Oh, of course not. That's not going to work. We can't just do this. City. We have to do like return the object of params, and then city is going to be serialize city. That's how you spell city. Whoa! There. Now refresh. No. /city URL param intended for dynamic route must be nested under the params key. Keys that need to be moved out are ID. Oh, I can't. Okay, I can't do that. Ugh. So it looks like I can only pass one thing. I'll just keep serialize in there, I guess. No, I can't. It'll break. What is happening? City.toString. That's not correct. City.id. .toString. Darn it. How do I get the name in? I don't want to have to fetch this whole file again. I mean, I could do that. And then I could use like an index. I could use the index instead, because the index will always be the same. Or I could just find it, which is gross. That'll take a while. But it's static props, so it doesn't matter. It's at build time. Doesn't matter how long it takes. But I should be, like, I'm just reading it. I'm so curious why I can't pass in more than one thing through params. So see the paths section below. So it statically generates that. I know if it's multiple ones, you can include multiple ones. Fallback key, that's fine. Fallback pages, don't really care. If you're pre-rendering pages that use dynamic routes, static paths, technical details, static props. When you use static props on page dynamic routes, you must use static paths. Only builds on the server side, only allowed in a page. Yeah. Get server side props. Okay, we don't need that because we're not doing server side rendering. Where's get static props? Is that above here? Get static props. When should I use it? Don't really care. Params, preview, and preview data. Okay. Yeah, it seems like it'll only allow me to contain things that are in the, oh darn, inside of the params of that route. So I'll have to do this twice then. Just grab this again, go here, and then get the city from here. Const city equals, I can't do this actually, it's just params.city. So the city ID, and then what I'll do is city data dot find whatever city, boom, where city dot ID is equivalent. We'll just do toString just to make sure. toString is equivalent to params dot city, which will give me the entire city, including the name. City dot name. Okay, this should not break. Over here. Right. So we have the name of the city and its city code, then looking at the weather, which we haven't done yet. Which we don't want to do on get static props. I wonder if we can combine get static props and get server-side props. I don't think so. Why not? Let's try. I highly doubt it. Export async. I think you can use either one. Function get server-side props. And it takes in a bunch of stuff. We'll just call it context. And it also returns because these props structures are the same, right? So that's not going to work. Maybe we should use so that the weather loads like on. No. That's okay. So let's not do this. So what we'll have to do then is on the front end, we'll load this page. We can maybe give a bit of information about how to use it and then fetch or like check for the week or something like this. So when you show up to the page, which will be we'll show up to the home page. You can see all the cities, which will be fine. And then we go to that page, which tells us the city. No, I should just get the weather right away. But we can't statically generate it because the weather changes every day. So you need to only get it on request. I really want to use get static paths and get static props. Except we don't need to render them statically. Let me just read the documentation one more time. Get static props. That's not the right one. I want to get static paths. If a page is a dynamic route and uses get static props, it needs to define a list of paths. Otherwise, there's no purpose into rendering static things. Oh dear. I really wanted to use this. Yeah, okay, no, it's fine. We'll come to a page with the name of your city, an explanation of what the app does, and then a button to fetch the weather. How about that? That works. So we need to add a few more things, I guess, then. Which will be the weather fetching, which means we need to fetch library. So open up this. Let's cancel the server for a second. Yarn add isomorphic unfetch. So to get an isomorphic one, just because if we need it on the server side as well, we can have it. Also unfetches the bomb. Sure, a bunch of junk. Yarn dev again. Over here, we'll import that. I like to separate these utilities for the backend just by like used on server side because they get removed for the front end, and I don't want to confuse them with the imports used on the front end. So import some. Ooh, interesting. We could use SWR. SWR. I think yarn add SWR. Let's try with that and get that link from the open weather data for the 5-day forecast by city ID, and we're going to copy and paste this whole schlup here. So import SWR, or use SWR, nice hook, from SWR. And that way, so SWR will allow us to, if you like go off the page and come back, it'll refresh by refetching the data. It might do a lot of calls unnecessarily for this context, but that would be good, I think. Yeah, because when we get there, then it'll automatically fetch it. That seems good. No buttons. We don't need a button. So const data. We'll just call it data. We have no other thing to call it. I feel like, yeah, okay. Const data, use SWR, and the key will be this monstrosity. The city ID, which we'll know from props.city ID, statically rendered, and the app key, which we can get from process env.weather API key. Of course, this is not actually interpolating those strings, so we'll do this. Wonderful. And we'll have to we should probably do HTTPS here. Which I'm assuming it's secure, but I don't actually know. So open weather map, get that. And the second thing is we'll use route here. I don't know if we need it. I don't know if we need it. We'll leave it out. So it should fetch this and use that as a key for caching. Weather API key we haven't. So it's in the .env file, but we need to actually make a .env. Oh, do we? Absolutely interesting. Because it's statically rendered, maybe it can use that key. Console log the data first. Console.log. Actually, might as well just print it to the page. JSON.stringify data. No. We want the pretty print. 2. Spaces of 2s. So go here, refresh. Yes, the server's not running. Probably do a yarn dev. That would be good. Building. Yep, refresh. Unfortunately, it built all the pages. Nothing is returned from render. Oops, whoa. I'm just pressing random keys. Probably it's because, data was null. So we have to do for now, just data. You then do this. Otherwise, just do nothing. Refresh, so it's going to give nothing. Why isn't it getting the data? Is my console.log data? Should fetch it, unless there's an error inside of the fetching. Here. Look at our network and give this a refresh. Good. Okay. It's not seeming to want to fetch the data. Why not? Oh, is it even executing any React on there? Is that maybe what's happening? Oh my goodness. Where is mine here? Console. Yeah, of course, data is undefined, but it doesn't seem to be reevaluating. Oh, we can't use it. We can't use static rendering. Darn it! Because the content isn't all static. Well, I tried. I'll try to do it, but it didn't work because the content is just not static at all. Unfortunate. Okay, that's fine. We'll just change this one here, get static props, to get server side props there. Which this will still work the same, except we will do the initial call to this key here on this side here, and then we can pop it in the data called weather. There, we'll just do that. So it's already async. We can just say const weather request is equal to await fetch this URL. Props.city ID will not be props anymore. Whew! I hit random keys again. It'll be params.city. And the app ID is there. Weather request. If the weather request is okay. Okay. I guess we can just put it in line over here. If the weather request is okay, then we can do await weather request.json. Yes, I don't want that anymore. Okay, maybe it's going to give us an error because, yeah, you cannot use get static paths. Or what? Get server-side props. Get static props. I didn't use get static props. Refresh. You cannot use, to do SSG remove. Yeah, okay. So we can't do this, unfortunately. That's okay. Fetch isn't defined. I haven't imported fetch. I installed it, but I didn't import it. So fetch from ISO more ISO morphic unfetch. There we go. We can use it on the back end and the front end, so I'm not going to put it specifically on the server side. Refresh. It still says nothing. That's fine. That's fine. That's actually fine because we have to put in the initial data here. Initial data as props.weather. There we go. Ooh. Good. Okay, so it works. It works. It didn't pretty print it at all. Maybe if I toss it in like a code element. Code. Or a pre, rather. Don't need code. Pre. What happens now? That's better. Okay, so all I want is a pressure. The pressure. There it is, pressure. What is the measurement of pressure? Kilopascals? I saw one in hectopascals when I was reading up on this. What is this even? COD, message, CNT, list of what? This is like per day, per hour, clear sky. This is just a huge long list. City, that's fine. Aerial. Is that what I picked? 199394, aerial. Sure, Illinois. Oh, that's country. IL. What country is IL? Country. IL. Israel. Very cool. So this is weather in Israel. In aerial in Israel. Weather. I'm assuming this is like per day. Daytime. I'm assuming that's what it is in seconds. It looks like. But this would be like a 5-day forecast, I thought. Looks much more than 5 days. So what does it look like? Here we go. Example response. So list blah 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 city. Here we go. That's what I want. List the time of the data forecasted in seconds. List.main. List.weather. Atmospheric pressure in hectopascals. That's good to know. Let's just paste that in here. Pressure is in hectopascals. List. Okay. But it's by hour as well, I think. Yeah, the 3-hour forecast for 5 days. Oh dear. That's a lot of data. What we really need to do... Okay, now we got to think about what we need to do. Let's group them by day first. Let's go through the list and group all of the bits of weather information, the forecast by day. At least we can do that. Hoping that these will be relatively consistent and hopefully by the day. DT, the time of the data. Oh dear. I'm not confident that this will be within the same day. But we can always get a library to do that. So let's just go through this. Let's get the data out. Oh, darn. Yeah, let's get the data out before. So we'll do let weather here, which will be undefined. And then we'll remove this and put it into too many keys. I pressed too many keys. Into here. So if it's okay, then we need to get the weather data out here by setting weather equals to that. Good, so it's going to maintain the same thing. We'll just console.log weather.list.map, and we just want to get that DT out of there. I think that's how that works. dt. Okay. Go here, refresh. It's going to do this again. There. Yes, it's naturally every 3 hours. So we need to group them by day by, what are we going to do? We have to convert them into a timestamp. Get the first couple of them and make sure that matches. So I'm going to use a library called spacetime. Add spacetime to do this. I just want to break that down to the 5 days. I don't particularly care right now about the pressure every 3 hours just yet. Do yarn dev. So we added spacetime in here. So we go in here, import spacetime from spacetime. And what we'll do with that, so we'll just use spacetime with that timestamp. See what it allows us to do here. And dot format. Here. Okay, that didn't do anything. We'll do it. There we go. Okay, yeah. That is okay. Because they're in Unix timestamps, they're in seconds. Let's see, does spacetime allow you to do something like that? You spacetime.how. Spacetime, go to clone, time zone, format, startup, end up, add, subtract, next is equal before, diff, same, last. Set is valid, progress, leap year, this is in the way. Is DST, has DST, offset is asleep. Daytime. Let's move this back. Can I get, they have a better page on Djibouti. Offset time of year, go to time. Okay. It doesn't. I'm just gonna have to be gross about it and just say we're gonna, oh no. Hopefully this works. Add 3 zeros to the end for milliseconds. Let's see what happens here. Nope, that didn't work. Now it's all empty strings. Let's just, there we go, parse it at the beginning. And refresh. Yes, that worked. Wonderful. So the 19th is today, I believe. Yes, the 19th is today. Then we have the 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. Perfect. So let's group them by the days. So we'll do reduce here. Reduce, and we'll have a days map, and then this object will be called the forecast, I guess. Forecast. This will be forecast.dt. Format. So we'll do this and we'll do this. But I don't know if we totally care about all the rest of the data in there right now. We have the city information. That's the ID and the name. We can get the stuff if we need to. We just want to know the weather group by day. So we can say that we'll get the const day is this. So that'll give us a day. And if the days list already contains that day, and we can just go days at day dot push, because we'll make it a list, the forecast. Otherwise, if we don't have the day's day yet, we can say days at day. Oh, interesting. Make it slightly more effective. We'll return days always, otherwise we'll get an error. But first we'll do days dot push. Oops, no. Days at day dot push forecast. That way we can just go in here and say, if it's not existent, if it's undefined, we can make it equal to empty list. There. So that'll give us a nice reduction, and I am confident this will work. So we can just set the weather to be this. Refresh. There we go. So now it's by day. So this day, here's all of them. This day, here's all the forecasts. And we can go in there and get main and then the pressure. Now, for determining if you're going to get a migraine, which is the big thing, it's going to be, you need to have a certain amount of differential between the pressure you have right now and then the pressure that will come, which I think is, let me just look it up. Pressure headache, pressure migraine. How much does the pressure change? Here we go. What barometric pressures cause headaches? Let's take a look at this. Oh gosh. We just want to know how much pressure needs to change before it's possible we might get a headache. Okay. 5 hectopascals higher than the previous day, or 5 hectopascals lower than the previous day. So we need to measure plus or minus 5 hectopascals in variation per day, and that will be more likely for us to get, or at least 5 hectopascals, more than likely get a migraine. More than likely. So let's try and do some of that math here. So we have all these numbers measuring just the pressures. So the difference between even this day, that's the same. That's the same. There we go. It's like a difference of 1 between even a couple of hours. So I wonder if we should measure it per hour. Well, here's the one. Here's a good drop. This one goes from 112 to 1,009. Not quite our 5. 3 is further away from 5, but that's a good drop. Back up to 10. So do we want to take like an average of the per day and then see? Yeah, that's probably best if we take like an average of the pressure over the entire day. And then we'll see if the difference is 5 or higher or lower, like 5 plus 5, at least plus 5 on either side. So let's try with that. So we get all this data in here, which we can, boom. Should we compute it on the front end or the back end? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Because we just get the data in here on the front end. Oh, we have to compute it on the front end. That's what we should do. Because we're using SWR here, we shouldn't use SWR. Just forget that for now. Even though it's ideal, but we get to do all this same work of this, like reducing the list, if we were to do it up here as well, which is fine. We can like isolate it as a function. Let's do that. Let's isolate it as a function. So function over here doesn't need to be async, but we'll just do get weather by days. We'll pass in the forecast. We'll call it 5-day forecast here. And then we'll return exactly this. Big mess here. Boom. And that, where this is the 5-day forecast. Perfect. So now we can do weather by days. Do this, and then I'll submit my own fetch request in here. So fetch that route. But then, with the response, would be response.ok, and then do this function called weather by days with await. I could do async. Await r.json. That's a bit hacky. Just do that. So all I'm doing it with that SWR call is you can pass in your own way of doing data fetching as opposed to whatever they'll use under the hood. So I'm just going to use my fetch, just call that route, get the data back. I'm not breaking that into a full function, even though this is a function. And I'm just going to use promise chaining. So I'll just do .then, make this an async function. So in here I can call my function as opposed to do a chain.then call. But then wait until that response is okay. I'm getting lazy with the naming. and then get the data out of that, pass it through my get weather by day function. That way we can update it if we refocus in the window. So we can do that on the back end and the front end, but the weather will be the same no matter what. So here we can pass that in. Get weather by day, and then weather, which should work perfectly fine. Refresh. There's an error. Get weather by day not defined. Days. Oh, of course it is. It's by an S. Refresh. Boom. There we go. And if I refocus on it, it's not going to change. It got nothing. Why did it get nothing? Did fetch request fail? It did because the app ID isn't there. It needs to have, okay, so I need to create a next.config.js file, export. I can't use that. Module.exports equals an object with env in there. And I need to have weather API key, WAPI key. It's going to be process.env.weather underscore API underscore key. So because Next.js is React, we need to be able to build in certain API keys or certain, what are they called? Environment variables, that's what it's called. So we need to put that in our Next.js, next config.js file. It doesn't use any ESNext. It runs a node, I'm assuming. So we pass an env key and we give it a variable name to replace in the front end code and an environment variable, which we'll need to provide a build time. So env.build, so it's going to be the same thing. We need it both at build and before. You may be asking, why did it work before in this request? And that's because the API key here is running on the back end, which will have access to those environment variables in Node. So that should be fine now. So this one is actually now WAPI key, which should give us that key. Refresh. Oh, I had to kill the server because I added that config file. So when we make changes to your Next.js config file, you have to restart the server. That is all. I hope you can read this text. My goodness. Hopefully you can read it anyways. Goodness me. Okay, so it's running. So let's refresh this here. So that's from the server because we refreshed it. We'll go refocus. There, it didn't break, and it should have made an API request network. Yeah, perfect. So put our key in there, and we re-got the data, and it recomputed it. Didn't change at all. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. So now we'll get all the pressure for every 5 days on average. In order to do that, we'll do a for loop. So let's just do like let pressures equals, and we'll do an object here. And then for each day end forecast, because there's lots of forecasts, I should say, of data dot entries. Entries is like I have an object. Oh, that's not going to work, is it? I have to do object.entries. That's going to put it into tuples of the key, which in this case is our day timestamp, and then the values, which would be the forecasts. And then all we can do here is say pressures at day is equal to, and then look at the average of all the forecasts. So forecasts.reduce, and we'll reduce this. It's going to be the average, or the sum, I should say. Sum, and we just need main out of this, and we actually need main.pressure. Bunch of destructuring there, and we'll say 0, and then we'll just do return sum plus the pressure, like this, and then we'll divide that by casts.length. Give us the average. Good. Okay, well, instead of stringifying all the data, pressures. We'll stringify the pressures. There we go. There's the average. Now There's not a significant drop. Oh, there is. Look at that pressure change. We've gone from 9 to 0. I guess 1009, 2000. That's like a significant enough drop in one 24-hour period to be considered risky for a migraine. And there's no direction either, like 5 in that direction. Amazing. Amazing. Let's just see. I'm just curious, like how well this can be read. Let's see. Maybe I just need to make it bigger. My font size is too small. I'm just watching the stream as it's happening. That's all. Yeah, it's way better if it's bigger. Is this too small? Make it bigger. Ooh, the colors might not do it justice either. Okay. So now how do we determine whether or not... how do we determine whether or not it's going to be different? If we whether or not it's going to be risky. It's going to be risky. So I guess we're going to say whatever day it's on, Friday, whatever day that is, there's a risk. No risk, no risk, risk. Or we might as well say low risk, higher risk. And then the greater the deviation from 5. So we get a loop through each of our pressures and check, is it plus or minus, at least plus or minus a difference of 5 from the previous day. So obviously the first one is today, so we can put that in here. Interesting. We'll have to convert this to an object, an array. So I want to get the first one. Maybe I can just do like const. Here, let's do this. Const today is equal to space time. Like this, dot format. Format with an E, format A. And that way we can just do console.log, let's console log it, pressures at today. And open that up here. Console. Oh, undefined. Why is it undefined? Console log pressures today. What does today look like? Is the server running? Did I turn the server off? Yeah, okay. 949. Why is it undefined? What? FaceTime.now? Good format? Oh, that's better. Okay. Yeah, so we get 1011. It's this one. This is today. And then we need to loop through and see, we can just calculate risk and replace the kilopascals with a risk level. So we can maybe just have a function called calculate risk. And it gives us two, put that out here, function calculate risk. And it's going to have two values, previous day, previous pressure, and the current pressure. And what we'll do is, if the difference is, we'll have to come up with some sort of deviation where it's like plus or minus a couple of things. Because if it's if it's at 5, we have a higher risk, but then if it's higher than 5, it's extremely high risk. So we want like a low risk, which is less than 5 hectopascal change. We have a high risk, which will be a greater or equal, or an equivalence of, we'll do greater or equal 5 hectopascal change. And then we have a very high risk, which is anything greater than, let's say, 8 hectopascal risk, hectopascals. Right, 5, or we should do 10. That seems significant. Anything less than 5 is probably not super high risk in deviation. Anything greater or equal 5 will be high risk, and then very high is anything greater than 10. So this will like 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then go into very high risk. So we have to calculate the difference between the two in both directions, right? Like -5, plus or minus 5, we should say. Plus or minus 5. How are we going to do that? So we do a difference of the two. We'll just use absolute value. I guess that'll work. So we'll just do the difference. So const difference is equal to the previous pressure less the current pressure. There. And we'll just print this, return that diff for now. Calculate risk. Oh, I'm getting lost in all these functions. So this is server-side props, I don't have to worry about it. Static props, we can go away. We don't need to use it anymore. This is our actual React function. Pressures in hectopascals. So we calculate all of the average pressures for the day. And now we want to get and calculate all of the risks for everyone. So how can we do that in a loop? We can just go, here's the first one, previous. We'll have to like loop through it with a while loop, it looks like. So let previous empty, then do while, let previous equal today. That's what we'll do. Pressures at today. But we don't know what's next. How are we going to know what's next? Can't do that. For, we have still to keep it previous. We'll still keep it previous. Let previous. For let, we only care about the values at this point. Do we? No, we don't. Day, average pressure of object.entries pressures. Pressure seems like an odd word to say. So we'll just do if previous. If we don't have a previous value, then break. Or we can use continue, I think. That'll skip that loop. Let's just check to make sure that's true. Let's not. If we don't have a previous, then continue. Otherwise, we'll do previous equals to the day. Or we can just do average pressure. There. Previous workers average pressure, then continue. Otherwise, we want to do console. It's going to console log ourselves. Calculate risk of the previous one and the current one, average pressure. After we want to do that, we want to set the previous one to be the average pressure. Good. This should give us a couple prints here. Except, whoops, it's not printing anything. Why is it not printing anything? Calculate risk, right? That's what, yeah, calculate risk. Oh, it's just returning it. My mistake. I should be printing in here. Console log, boom. All the differences. There we go. Yeah, so 1, low risk, 0, low risk, 1, low risk, -1, low risk, 9, high risk. High risk, which we set up here, right? Yeah, high risk. So if we just take the absolute value of this, abs, it's math.abs. Math.abs, there. So the absolute values, that just give us, same values, but just making sure that the negatives doesn't really matter. Either way, in either direction, it's going to be risky. So we can just say if, do a simple comparison, I guess. If the difference is less than 5. Either way, we can return low risk. Well, let's turn words and put them CS styling in there. So it's low risk if we have a difference of greater or equal to 5. And we can return, that should be our last one. We should return high, but before that, we have to return a diff of greater than 10. Boom, return very high. Very high. So it should be one of these. If it's less than 5, we'll hit low. That's fine. If it's greater than 10, it's a very high. Otherwise, it's high. So you see over here, we have 4 lows and 1 high. Just group them all. 4 lows, 1 high, which is good. That's good. What we want to do here is actually we'll go into the pressures object and we'll replace all of the actual pressures with the calculated risk. So pressures equals, sorry, not equals entirely. Pressures at the day is the calculated risk like this. And then we can print console.log. Actually, it's not printed here. It's going to do that. There we go. So the first day we don't care about. Naturally, it's today. If you're looking today to check out the difference of today, it will be a bit too late. But then we have low, 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 and then the high risk day over here, the 24th of April, whatever day that is. Very risky that day. I can't believe it's almost done this month. Jeez. It's too much. How can it be almost done? Yes, Arthur, you're always late by 1 hour. Come on. Are you on YouTube? Are you watching from YouTube? Welcome. Anyway. Okay, I've literally just gone and done like the weather API stuff. So this app is like calculating risk. It's calculating risk of a migraine based on the like hectopascal pressure change. So now I got to figure out some sort of interface for this. And this is in Israel. We're calculating it right now. But theoretically, you could be on any city here. If you're on YouTube, then try it out. I just want to see from your end now, as somebody who's watching. Let me know if it breaks and stuff. Okay, all right. Let's do some user interface stuff now. So this is pretty much, we have the days, which are great, and then we have the pressures for that day. So let's just toss out all this junk for now and render. I'm just going to use style.jsx because it's built in. Div class name equals page. That's a descriptive class name. Div. And we'll do style in here, JSX. Boom. This style. And I didn't close that tag. There. So style.jsx and a page. What should it look like? It'll just pretty much be an H1, which will be the title of the city, which is just props.city name. You should probably put it in the country as well, actually. Should probably get the country. So over here, I'm pretty sure country name, short name. I don't know how we're going to look up the long names of different countries. City.country. Let me just print the cities. And oops, console.log city. As Arial is just doesn't really mean much to somebody, me. Boop, boop, boom. Yeah, it just says country. IL. I wonder if we can use it to get a flag. That would be fun. Got to YouTube via Flock. Oh, I see. That's good. Well, let me know how it works. 2 flames. Sweet. Can I do that? Let's just. Is there an emoji flags? Like if I type in IT, there was IL, right? Yeah, I didn't get Israel. Yeah, there's the Israeli flag. Didn't get it. IL. Okay. Country code IL. JavaScript. I don't know. That's ISO country code reference. Ooh, okay. Is I? Oh. Yeah, okay. So it's the ISO country codes. Boom. How do we get that to name JavaScript? How is that gonna do it? This is the gist. That's what I want. Brilliant. It's a big long list. Okay. Is that the same thing here? Yeah. There's no other way. There's no like built-in nice, you can just handle it, MDN, fine. I'll copy this file. Boom, boom. Utils. Get country name. .js. Paste. Let's get rid of this var nonsense. Const ISO country codes. That down here. Let's export a single function. Exports default function anonymous code. We don't need this old school nonsense. Arrow function. We're just going to return the country code if we don't have it. That makes sense. That makes sense. Why is it checking? Let me just do like, ooh, that's always correct. I have the country that code for the code. I don't know, did that break somewhere? Like I don't. This seems way more effective. Shorter is what I mean by effective. So in our city, then we can import that file. Import get country name from utils get country name. And I'm passing it in now as like, yeah, country short name, which is a country code. Country code. So props are country code gives us the country. And then how would I do this? How would I do this? Could I just, how would it be like the city name, then the country, or the country name, the city? Let's just do this way for now. Get country name. Oops, boop, up, boop, this way. Props.country code. Boom. Here, comma, empty. Israel, there we go. Arial Israel. And then what? How am I going to display this? Let's get a better font, first of all. Fonts, google.com. What's a good font, Arthur? If you're still there. What would be a good font to use? Categories. I don't want any serif fonts. Get out of here. We could use a display font. Should we? Yeah, okay. Yeah, display or sans serif. Those would be the things. And I'm just gonna, there's so many fonts. Roboto, no way. What are you, fine. We'll find Roboto and then we'll find something a bit more magical to go with it. Search Roboto. Okay. Let's give that medium style, that bold style, and that's a regular style. And then pairings. Lato. Montserrat. But these all are Roboto slab. What's Lato look like? I don't know if I like that. I want something crazier for the titles. Open Sans? All right. Because I asked, I guess I can't go back on it. I'll grab Open Sans as well. I don't like their new interface. How do I add this to? Can I just? Oh, is this button? Oh wow. What? Except I want bold. There we go. That's a title. Bold. Designed by engineer, actually though. So let's embed this. Get that link. So much easier to read here. Boom. I'm going to create a tool that you can pass in this link and it gives you just the Latin out. Oh, I don't even have a file for this yet. Got to create a components directory. Whoops. Components global styles.js. Import React from React. Export default. No props in this one. Boom. Like this. A lovely thing like that. Style JSX. Style global. Global JSX. There we go. The entire global styles style here. Prepare for some CSS variables as well. What else are we doing? What else are we doing here? I'm going to do. What am I going to do? Right, fonts. What's wrong with me? I'm also going to do this. Star, comma, star, star. This is box sizing, border. Oops. Border box. There. Box sizing, border box. Wonderful. We'll also do the classic H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, as far as I'll go. Really? So I can just, but then how would I, but I don't have to have CSS files. I don't know if I want CSS files. Yeah, but I still have to make them. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm gonna do the same thing with this. I'm just gonna, no way, man. I'm sticking with that. If I could, if I was just a little bit less lazy, I would do style components, but I'm just being lazy. Adding 0. 0 P's. Margins, 0. I don't think there's any margins on titles, but just in case. On the header elements. There. And then the body. That's not how we do it. Zoom. So we'll do our font families in there, but we have to import the fonts first, which is what I'm doing over here. Just those Latin fonts. Import them fonts. Boom. Open sans. Boop, boop, Latin. Here. Boom. Yeah, and I just, yeah, I know what you mean. It's just like it's more files to me. How do you, okay, tell me this, Arthur. You could share with me, impart upon me. How do you store then how do you like structure your file system? Do you want to do CSS modules or Sass? What do you want to call it? Roboto. There we go. Did I only get 2 for each? I think I had 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, okay. Brilliant. So this will have this font family, font weight, bold naturally, and the font family over here will be Roboto, and it'll be normal font weight, so it's fine. There. What does our amazing website look like now? Oh, I didn't make an app.js file. Oops. Here. Underscore app.js. Import. Nope. Export. I do need import. Import global styles from. That's not how that works. Header.tsx/js plus header.module.css. All just flat, like you have like one components directory, and then like all in one. Is that how you would do it? I'm not sure how you would do it. Now I'm just curious what your question. Global styles from components, global layouts. Yeah, so you would just keep it like flush. You would have both the CSS files and JS files all in one from all of your components. Or, I mean, nested layouts, that's either way. but you would have like header.tsx, header.scss, then you'd have like footer right next to it, CSS and SCSS and TSX. Wouldn't that get messy? I guess they group them together because of the names. Global styles.js, not JS. Export default function that takes component and page props. I always forget. I don't write this very often. Return. I don't even need to return. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. Here, this, that, this, there. Here, boom. Global styles. Import that sucker. It's getting mad. Oh yes, typo. Global styles and then component, and spread those hit page props. If you're curious as to what's happening here, this is like a Next.js specific component. Names follow each other's, and you have 3 or 4 components in your layouts folder. So you group your components by their use. Like you don't have like a big massive, like I like to just keep all my components in the components directory. So it's going to get real messy if I do like CSS art in there as well. Okay, now it should work. Oh, the font didn't change. Is it the right font? No. What's happening? Do I have to restart my server because of my app.js file? Let's try. Let's see what's going on. That's better. I did. I needed the app.js file, so now it's using my fonts. That's good. Oh, we should get colors too. Oh, you have aliases in there. Very nice. Nice. How do you build that in? Those aliases. Like you're using your own like Babel file, like a Babel plugin or something? I guess it's TypeScript. Oh, TypeScript must have a nice thing in there. What? Really? Config resolve alias. Cool. Okay. So that's just in like your next config JS file here. You can put that in here. That's amazing because in Flock itself, the paths are just getting out of control, like wild out of control. So I might have to try that out. Not this is like way too small. Okay, so we have this H1. I'm going to get the emoji flags for these as well, but I'll do that at another time, just so I don't have to painstakingly go through and put a flag next to all of these. Yeah, so now we have a font. That's good. So we'll just do like a really basic for now because we're almost done. Kind of almost done. We'll do like the title, today's date, maybe underneath, and then we'll do like a list of these days in the future, like tomorrow, the day after, whatever, and give it their dates, and then put the risk in there, plus maybe the average kilopascals. We'll do that, something like that. So we'll have in here div class name equals pressures. Boom. Div. And then for each pressures, we'll go through it. Boom. Object.entries here. Object.entries of pressures map. And here we'll have the day and the risk level. Boom, div key is the day. We actually have to filter out today's day because we don't want it. Oh, maybe we could keep it today. The date for today is just a reference. Whoops, what did I do there? Day. Boom. So in here, we'll just put risk level. And class name equals, pressure. What does that look like? There we go. Low, high. And then there's the first one, the risk level, because it's the actual today. So we need to remove today from this, which we can probably just do over here after we calculate the risk. Delete pressures at today. There, perfect. But within that, we also want to have a div. We'll have two divs, I guess. Class name equals pressure date. And that will be the day. We'll format that nicer, div. And then this one here, div class name equals pressure risk. Like that. Lovely. Perfect. I guess we can do like tomorrow for this one. Or just the dates, I guess, are fine. Super. Now it's space time. This, and then it's going to complain. You can't do an object. I knew it. It's going to complain. Classic. Arthur, how's the stream quality look for you? Just curious. Space-time day dot format, and we want to give it a format of month, April, space day. I think that's it. Monday, Tuesday. Oh, that's nice. I guess date was what. My goodness, I'm just all over the place there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's April 20th. We can do it. Ooh. Oh, sweet. Okay, that's good. Good to know. I've just decided we're going to do a double, like, it should probably be bigger, actually. So there's a span in here. Class name equals date, day of a week here. Span. And we'll just copy this into here and then do this. All we want is the day. The other one, all we want is the date, and we'll do that in this span here. Class name equals date, actual date, date. I'm very good at my CSS class names, if you can tell. There we go, Monday, April, yeah, perfect. Perfect. Get some styles going in there. No questions so far, Arthur. I'm assuming you're the only one watching, but I actually have no idea. If only I could get the watch count live from YouTube. Doesn't work for me, though. Okay, so our page, style the page. Oops, whoops, whoops. That's the wrong keys. Dot page. We'll do the width as 100 view width, the height, min height, I should say, in case for some reason it gets larger than that. Min height is 100 view height. Boom. Display, flex, align items, center. Oopsies. I want flex direction column. I knew you were going to say that. I just knew it. I was going to look up, and I just knew you were going to say that. I have been using more CSS Grid, and I can definitely use it for probably this pressure situation. I will use it. I'm just not as good at it yet. I don't know what I'm doing. Why did all the text disappear? What's happening? How did I, for some reason, hide the entire page? Page here, yeah. And then the text is, what? What is, oh, I zoomed in. I was zoomed in. Oh, what's going on? Oh, there's still, ugh. I always thought that putting border box situation on the body and HTML would be fine, but it never works for me. I always come in here and be like, margin 0, padding 0. I want you in my place. There we go, that's better. I guess makes perfect, yeah, I guess so. I'll do it here, I'll do it today. Okay, so we spit out this title. Let's give the page some padding, not too much though. Padding of 2 rems, that's reasonable. Good. And then we'll change that title. I'm lazy to put a class name on it, so I'll just do page h1. There. The font size at 2.5 rems seems reasonable for like a big. Nope. How about 3.5 rems? That's huge. There we go. Yeah, okay. And now we should probably put some sort of context in there and not just like some dates. So I'll put a placeholder for now, just some p tag. Um, add some context about what you are looking at. There. We'll keep that padding is fine. Why does the font size look so small? I guess it's so zoomed in. I don't know. All right. Now we're going to do pressures. Okay, this is where Arthur wants me to use CSS grid. So it's a good thing he's here to help me. Display, grid. And then we always have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So we can just do like grid template rows. I think it's like repeat. I'm spelling this right even. For 4 days. Did I say 4? 1, 2, 3. It's 5. 5. And 1FR for now. Did we do that right? It's not doing anything. Columns? Oh, let's. Oh, I hit save in the wrong place. Ah, there we go. There's columns. So we have 5 of them. Grid template columns. Okay. Now I can align. Oops. Now I can align them. Align items center. And then justify items center. Right? Oh my gosh, I don't know. Pressure's pressure. Got pressures. Pressure. Background. Background. Red. This trick will never go out of the book. Are they centered in the grid? I should be using Firefox. At least then it could show me the grid outlines. Where? Oh, at least Chrome has some grid outline. That's nice. Yeah, they look centered. That's good. Okay, they're centering. And then what we'll do now is I'm going to go back to Flex Harder. Not for this one. This one's fine. And it won't be responsive, will it? Yeah. We'll have to do like autofill or autofit or something like this. Can you do that? Like a min-max autofit or autofill? So that way they wrap as the screen gets smaller. Tell me, how do I do this? I don't actually know. Responsive, repeat, autofill, min-max. Okay. Autofill, min-max. Let's repeat. Instead of 5, autofill. And 100 pixels? Whatever I set it to. Min-max. 100 pixels, and then 1 remainder. Stop it. Repeat. Autofill. Min-max 100, 1FR. Why is it? Oh! I know why. I know why. Don't tell me. No, I don't know why. What happened? Why did it all go in a row now? Some background color on this. Green. The worst color. Yeah. Why isn't it laying them out in columns then? Arthur, what's going on? It's not working. Green, red. What am I doing? What's going on? Repeat. Autofill. Min-max. 100 pixels, 1 FR. Because they all fit in 100 pixels? Is that? I don't understand. Sending me a JS bin, okay. How are you sending to me? That's a good question, isn't it? I'm assuming in this chat. Grid. I'm so bad at grid. Pressure, risk. All right, let's just do a bit of styling while Arthur sends me a JSBin about how to do grid properly. So the pressure is going to be display flex direction column, and then align items. We can put it all in the center. Item align items center. Justify content center. Good. And then I'll have to do the same thing for the pressures date. Pressure date. I'm running out of time on the amount of time I can do this stream. So I think I'll have to do a follow-up one if you want to actually see me finish this. I'm almost done there, big boy. My kids are yelling at me. Display flex direction, column, align items, center, justify content. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, center. I'm also going to do text align center. There. Beep. Where did you send me this JSBin from? Where is it? I need help. Boom, boom, boom. I feel like, yeah, okay, no, yeah. So I'll do like, I would like to do like the text for, I guess I should just do like a title. Brutal. H4, maybe. I just want that different. There, yeah. We'll change the font size, but I don't really care about it being semantically an H something, but I would like to have it known, be a bit more bold in terms of design. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we do the font size of the day of the week. Let's be a bit larger. Font size. And 1.75 rems, that's 2.75. That's way too big. 1.75. There. And then, probably fine. Yeah, this low business, I want it to be like a nice square inside. So we'll just put like pressure risk will be a fixed size, 50 by 50 maybe, width, pixels, height, 50 pixels, background, green. And of course, display, flex, align, items, got to center it. Items, center, justify, content center. I literally 90% of the weight of my CSS is just these rules over and over, repeated over and over again. I feel that need for atomic CSS there. Or we can just do 100%, I guess. With 100%, height 100%. Nah, that doesn't work out, does it? With 100%, height 50 pixels. More. No, I had to make it fixed. How about 100 pixels? That too big? That's probably too big. Okay, it's not too big. Silly Wednesday. It's looking weird. Just a long name. Or Friday. No borders. That's fine, I guess. Are you still writing that JSBin, Arthur? It's taking so long. Come on. Oh boy. All right, that's fine. 5 seconds more on the stream. Just want to get these sorted out in a row. I want to get them in a row. And turn off all these gross colors, I guess. So let's put the font size in here. Super big. Font size, 5 rem. That seems way too big. 3 rem. There. We'll get some, next time we'll get some like icons going inside of there, ups and downs, maybe change the colors a bit. We'll pick some colors. What else could we do? We're going to line it up nicely. We'll do the home page and then add some context to this, and boom, there's a simple application done. Of course, it takes me way longer than usual to do these. I always think, this will take me like a couple minutes. No problem. But then it just takes me forever. I don't see it. No. Did you put the link in here? Did it hide the link? I don't see the link. I don't see it. No, I don't see it. Arthur, what have you done to me? Make me use grid. Yeah, we can turn off all these gross colors. Background green, gone. Background red, gone. Background green, gone. There. Yeah. So I'd like to sort them out this way. We'll get some nice borders and like some hover reactions maybe going. And we put some borders around them, box shadows, some padding. And then we can, make a homepage so you can get to your city. Now I don't see any links. Send it to me on Twitter. Twitter would be a good way to send it to me. And I have no questions to answer. No questions. I'm not answering any questions. That's fine. All right, everyone. I really appreciate you watching. Check out flock.2, which is what I'm streaming off of. That's kind of what this application is for when you're streaming. We're in early alpha. The stream worked, which is good. Always good. But check it out. Send an email, and we can contact and get in contact so we can give you a product demo, product tour. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.